Welcome to Around the Valley. Today is August 7th, 2012. You're listening to Mid-Valley Radio, where content is king.
Hi, I'm Lucia Flores, host of Rock and Rollas, and I also work in adult education.
I'm going to let Daniel Ramirez introduce himself. He's our special guest.
Thank you. My name is Daniel Ramirez. I'm with the National Latino Peace Officers Association. We're a nationwide organization that's broken up into geographical areas. Our chapter is the San Gabriel Valley chapter, so pretty much from Pomona to San Gabriel City, then south to maybe like Pico Rivera. And for the most part, we're a bona fide 501c3 nonprofit, and we fundraise. And our main goal is to fundraise for children, first-year college students. So that's kind of what our focus is in regards to fundraising.
Great. All right. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about what your organization is, and also the event you have coming up, which is the Menudo Run, right?
Yeah, the Menudo Run it's a huge event. It's our biggest fundraiser for the year. The organization, like I mentioned, is a nationwide organization. It's comprised of peace officers, and if you don't know, a peace officer is anyone delegated by the Penal Code to be have a badge, have the peace officer arrest powers such as probation, parole, police, federal agencies, local agencies, some correctional officers, so custody officers, so to speak. So when you say the word peace officer, it kind of encompasses a wide range of people.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's talk about that and in terms of the San Gabriel Valley, because so that includes the Los Angeles County Sheriffs, who cover Temple City, Rosemead. Does Baldwin Park have its own police officers association?
They're a police department.
Police. Okay, yeah. So then the private police departments, Baldwin Park, San Gabriel, El Monte, they have their own police force. There's a juvenile facility in Whittier, right?
You know what? Interesting you say that. I worked there for about 3 years. It's closed now. It's on. It was on Whittier Boulevard. It was called Fred C. Nellis, which is a California Youth Authority. Which, with the budget, you know what's happened with the budget. It's changed names. Now it's Department of Juvenile Justice Division of Juvenile Justice. That's what it's called.
Got it. Okay.
But it's closed. And it was a big facility. It was on 90 acres. Prime real estate. If someone had the forethought to sell that to a private person to build some houses down there. But.
Okay, yeah, because you also mentioned correctional officers. And who else was on that list?
Probation officers, parole agents, custody officers, local police officers. Then you have some interesting positions like school police. They're peace officers. Some smaller campus police. So it's a wide range. But again, I'd like people to kind of understand when you say National Latino Peace Officer, we're talking about not necessarily your street cop. We're talking about people that are pretty eclectic and especially in their field.
Yeah, it's important to think about. And also, I think it's important to think about police or anyone dealing with the public as peace officers. Because, a lot of times our interactions are negative, but really their job is a positive job, and it's important, and it is that way. They are keeping the peace. All right, so you were kind of summing up the basis of your organization, the structure of it. How does it work again?
Yeah, the structure is pretty interesting. It's paramilitary, so to speak. Our local chapter reports to a Southern Vice President. The Southern Vice President reports to a State President. State President reports to the Executive National Board. So it's pretty much governed to make sure that we're not abusing our authority as a 501c3. We're not out there discriminating or doing something that really isn't reflective of what the founding fathers of this organization stood for. And for the most part, 9 words sum it up. It's providing service through mentorship and education. That's kind of what this organization was founded on. So mentorship is a big deal for what we do. Just by the definition, we talked about the peace officers. I'm hoping someone's listening to the station here and realizes that it's not necessarily growing up criminal science thinking you're going to be a street cop. There's so many caveats to being a peace officer in the United States. So that's part of what we do as far as mentorship. Some of the young kids that we mentor, we give them some advice. We work with them. We have a teacher that's on our board at a Pomona School District, Pomona Unified. So he's a big influence. So if one of our mentorees needs some assistance with writing a college essay, that's kind of what we do. And it's all volunteer. This whole organization, our chapter, we all have real jobs in real life, but for the most part, we volunteer with this organization.
That's great.
That's kind of the structure.
You were saying you've been doing this for a while?
I've been active with this chapter since 1997, with this event since '98. So this is our 29th annual Menudo Run here in South El Monte.
29th, really? Okay, so let's get into this event.
Sure.
It's you say it again. It's the 29th annual.
It's the 29th annual Albert Rivera Menudo Run 5K, 10K. And if you don't know what menudo is, it's a cocido. It's a soup that is enjoyed by a lot of people, and more specifically, Mexican Americans or Mexicans, yes.
Great. And so The name is intriguing. Tell us why there's just a Menudo run.
It's interesting. I'm not sure how the Menudo run kind of factored into this, but I know the history of the event started in Whittier. The first event was probably the early 80s. It was in the streets in Whittier, probably pretty dangerous back then, in the 80s running on the streets. It transitioned to Lake Park in the early 90s. I got involved in about 1997, but ever since I can remember, Menudo's been part of it. So the goal is, it's almost like dangling a carrot in front of the donkey. You run the 5K. At the end of the Menudo run, you enjoy a free bowl of Menudo, usually with tortilla or bolillo, and we also get a one-day beer license from ABC, so you can enjoy a beer with Menudo free with your admission as a registered runner. And also, we provide food for the volunteers. It's a big event, and it's our biggest event of the year. So,
how many people are we talking about?
Last year we had about 350, 340 runners registered. We probably had about another 100 or 125 volunteers. And the volunteers comprised of spouses, siblings, children of members. We had the Baldwin Park Police Explorers. We had the El Monte Police Explorers, and we had the Irwindale Police Explorers. And if you don't know what a police explorer is, it's a young person volunteering their time to be part of a cadet program for a police department. So altogether, we had pretty close to 450, 500 people at this gazebo with the DJ, with Menudo, with soda, water, bananas, oranges, Menudo, beer. It's just a great party at the end of this race.
No, that sounds great. Tell us again the date and how to get involved.
Sure. The best way to get involved would probably go to our website. It's sgvchapter.com. You can register online. There's a small $3 fee, I think, to register online. If you go to the website, you can email us also, and I'll send you a registration form. It's Saturday, August 25th. Registration starts about 6:30, and these runners, they like to get there early and like to warm up, and they sometimes run a mile or two before they run a mile or two. The event starts at 8 o'clock, the race. So we're anticipating the race starts at 8 o'clock. It's at Lake Park.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, Lake Park is huge. You might get lost, but it's just south of the 60 freeway off of Santa Anita. So as you exit Santa Anita from the 60 freeway, it's on your right side, west side. You can't miss it. There'll be a bunch of runners with bibs on, and there'll be loud music. And
that really does sound like a lot of fun.
It resembles a party at the park.
Nice.
If anyone's interested in volunteering for this event, can they still do so? Or?
It's interesting. I was speaking with my vice president this morning, and if I didn't mention, I'm the president for this chapter. I've been the president for the past 4 years. I'm ready to relinquish that responsibility because it's a lot of work. But it's almost like everyone says, any volunteers, and 5 people take a step back, and I'm still standing here. But we're
thankful you are.
Somebody has to do it, right?
Yeah.
No, we were talking about how volunteers is important because we need people out on the track. We need people to assist with the food. We need people just to overall monitor what's going on. So anyone wants to volunteer, they can contact me personally at our email address. I can give that out. They can visit our website. Those are probably the best ways to contact regarding.
Great. So what's your email?
The email is kind of lengthy, so you might want to. I'll have to speak slow. Yeah. It's going to be NLPOA, which is the National Latino Peace Officers Association. NLPOA SGV for San Gabriel Valley, and then the word chapter at yahoo.com.
Ah, perfect. Okay, great. Lucia, have you ever been involved in any of these runs or walks or?
No, actually I haven't. I know Baldwin Park did one just recently, this past weekend, a 5K, and I read that it was really good, really successful.
Yeah, there's been a huge surge, I think, in kind of these events, and a lot of them are new. Baldwin Park had its first cancer walk. San Gabriel had its first Relay for Life. Temple City, I know, had 2 events this year, but this is unique in that it's been happening for 30 years, almost 30 years. And I think something that we try to do in the show is promote events in the San Gabriel Valley, because there are so many wonderful things happening that are positive, that are interesting, something that you might want to be a part of, but a lot of times there isn't that way to get the news out to people. And a lot of times, at least for me personally, I'm always finding out about things after they happen. For example, sometimes we chat about things we've done recently in the San Gabriel Valley. And this is a good example of something I wanted to do but missed it, is that a man gave a speech at a library about the history of baseball, and I think Latino baseball in, the Southern California region, but more specifically, I think San Gabriel, San Bernardino area. And I mean, that's so fascinating, right? Because a lot of times U.S. history in terms of especially at times of segregation and civil rights, we think of the South, or we think of different things. We don't really think of what was happening in 1920 in the San Gabriel Valley in terms of segregation and culture, and there were a lot of interesting things happening. For example, I recently went to Rio Vista Park in Monte. I don't know if either one of you have ever been there. Have you guys been there?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't been there.
Yeah, you been there, Lucia?
Years ago when I was in a softball team.
Ah, okay.
Years.
Well, if you've been there in the last couple of years, they've done some work kind of fixing it up. And it's actually, there's a picture or two in the Mid-Valley News, which is coming out tomorrow of that. But one of the things they did is they put kind of the history of that area. Hicks Camp, I think it was called, the barrio of that part in Monte.
That was a gang back in the 40s, maybe 50s.
Okay, yeah. I think it was a place to live, and then probably from then it became a gang. But there's some beautiful old photos that they've put up there, and they actually put the layout of the old city or the old barrio in the concrete, so you can walk around kind of on top of the history, and it just helps us remember. Well, anyways, we got a little off track, but let's stay there. What have you guys been doing recently in the San Gabriel Valley that's been interesting?
We've teamed up with CHP, the Baldwin Park station, and their PIO, Carrie Rivas. You may see her on the news. When there's an accident, she's their public information officer. But we liaison with her to do car seat inspections.
Okay.
We received a grant several years ago from I want to say it's State Farm, and maybe. Farmers. Sorry, it's been several years now.
We'll Google it. We'll put the information online.
We'll get it right. For the most part, CHP will have this event. We'll co-sponsor with the event. We'll have families come by appointment or by walk-in, drive-by, so to speak. The CHP with certified car seat installers and inspectors will see the car seat, look at it, make sure it's installed correctly, and if it's faulty, our chapter with the grant money gives the family a new car seat. And a funny story with that, not a funny story, but a great story, is we did an event maybe about a year ago with the car seat. Several weeks after that event, the child that received the car seat, the family, they got in a terrible accident. And we really believe in our hearts that because of the work that we did, we saved that child's life by giving a car seat to that family that had a faulty, if not old, recalled old car seat. So that's a big event that we do. We did one 2 weeks ago at the Mattel outlet in La Puente. I think that's on Valley Boulevard, Valley and Hacienda. I wasn't there, but I heard it was very successful. And if we could brag real quick for a second.
Yeah, please.
Because of the work we do, the fundraising, June 2nd of this year at San Dimas Canyon Country Club, we had an award ceremony for scholarship recipients, and I'd like to brag that we gave $6,000 in scholarships to young people. And for a small organization like we are, the small people that we have working, we do the work of 10 people each. So with that said, to give out $6,000 to be part of that, for me, that makes it all worth it.
Yeah, especially at a time when resources are so tight.
Sure.
It's much harder to fundraise than it's ever been in the past.
And I think sometimes too, it's not necessarily the monetary. Hey, I received $1,000. I think sometimes what happens to a young person's ego, to his personality, to be able to see an organization, a nationwide organization, acknowledge their accomplishments, their extracurricular, their GPA, the college. We had one student a recipient going to Brown University.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of the first times in the past several years that we had an Ivy League school recipient at our event. So we're hoping that kid goes on to become the next, Pulitzer Prize winner or something.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, kid. I think he was a poli-sci major, so hopefully he'll be president. And not that we're looking at that he gives back to our organization, but at the end of the day, we're hoping this young person does something and remembers, this small organization that supported me, maybe I need to do my own organization or support another nonprofit. Because I think at the end of the day, it's about one collective kind of community kind of coming together. Like we talked about earlier, if everybody acknowledges their organization and gave $1, and again, like you said, times like today, you have to pick and choose your charities, so very, very obvious.
Right.
But I guarantee you, this event here on the 25th of August, you're going to have a good time. You're going to dance, you're going to eat, you're going to be in a nice shade area, you're going to be with family and friends. It's a great event. I guarantee you when you leave it, you're going to say, I need to come back to this event. I have fun every year, and that's why I've been part of this for about 15, 16 years.
That's great. And on top of that, it's a good excuse to go to Leg Lake because
beautiful place.
It's such a beautiful place, and the people who know it love it and use it all the time. But there are so many people who've never been. And I mean, how many acres is Lake Lake?
It's huge. It crosses the freeway.
Yeah.
And our run too is beautiful, where you run actually alongside the lake. If you're lucky, you get a glimpse of a beautiful duck that's flying next to you.
Yeah.
You have guys that are out there with RF radio frequency boats on the water. You have the paddle boats. You have people working on fitness. It's just a beautiful, beautiful.
There's some concrete sculptures out there too. I know, kind of by a renowned artist. That's they're concrete sculptures, but they're for kids' playground equipment. And I know that because one of them, there's kind of the second set he did is in San Gabriel in a park, and I grew up playing on those, and that's a whole other story in itself that's interesting. And also, Lake is one of the few places where water can actually seep into the ground. To go back into the earth, to keep our water here instead of shooting down the concrete strips to end up in the ocean, and that's not something people always think about. But if you go to the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, they have a thing outside that talks about, or they have informational signage that teaches about the water basin, San Gabriel Valley water basin. And you'll see on that map the water going from the mountains to the ocean. Lake is very important for that. So all these things coming together, and then on top of that you have your walk, which is the Menudo Run, August 25th. And the way to get information about that, you can Google it. You can go to their website, which is
it's SGV CHAPTER, SGVchapter.com. So if you Google it, it'll definitely come up.
Great. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We're with Daniel Ramirez from the Latino Peace Officers Association, the San Gabriel Valley chapter, and we're talking about the Menudo Run that's taking place in South El Monte, August 25th. We'll be right back.
San Gabriel Valley events brought to you by Mid-Valley News. Temple City is going to be having a concert in the park. August 8th, the City of Temple City Summer Concerts in the Park series continues August 8th at 7 p.m. with the Funky Hippies. The group's 70s retro show featuring members Popcorn Jackson, Superfly, Rio Love, and the Disco Chic in elaborate costumes and performing antics reminiscent of the disco and funk era will have audience up on their feet in no time. Concerts are free and open to the public, staged every Wednesday evening through August 29th at Temple City Park Performing Arts Pavilion, 9701 Las Tunas Drive. Concert goers are encouraged to bring blankets or chairs for seating. Refreshments are available for purchase. For a full schedule, see the summer concerts ad in the summer 2012 issue of Temple City Connect. For more information, contact Debbie Ingram at area code 626-285-2171, extension 2361. The City of Monrovia is having their 2012 Summer Concert Series on Sunday. Library Park is the place to be on Sunday nights. The Department of Community Services is pleased to offer the 2012 Summer Concert Series. Bring your entire family to Library Park for an evening of free musical entertainment from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Enjoy a picnic and sit back in their lawn chair to relax and enjoy the concert. For additional information, please contact the Department of Community Services at area code 626-256-8246. Rebecca Romero at 626-256-8232. You can also email at rromero@ci.monrovia.ca.us. Baldwin Park continues to have their concerts in the park and a Taste of Baldwin Park on August 9th. Show up at 6 o'clock p.m. and enjoy the Taste of Baldwin Park, and stick around for Baldwin Park's Concerts in the Park series, this week featuring Tito Puente Jr. This is the last concert in the series, starting 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Morgan Park. The address is 4100 Baldwin Park Boulevard. For more information, you can call area code 626-813-5245, extension 317, or go to www.baldwinpark.com. Welcome back to Around the Valley. I'm Lucia Flores here with Sean, and our special guest is Daniel Ramirez from the Latino Peace Officers Association, San Gabriel Valley Chapter.
Great. So, before we get back into how Daniel is saving the world, let's talk about some fun things that we know that are going on. For example, I know this Saturday, August 11th, there's an opportunity to volunteer at Madrid School, or Madrid Park, which is behind Madrid School, and that's with Amigos de los Rios, which is an organization that works with the San Gabriel Valley, with trees and rivers, and, actually Mid-Valley News has mentioned them this week in their story about Rio Vista Park. About I don't know, maybe half a year ago, they had an anniversary with a partnership with the California Conservation Corps, which is similar to the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps, except this is a state level. And they had their anniversary celebration at this school by planting, over 100 trees. And they worked with the school district, and they worked with the principal, and they worked with the classes. I actually personally got to go to a class there and speak to them about the importance of trees and water, and we got the kids involved planting trees. It was a lot of work, but it was a great partnership and celebration for the organization and for the school. So one of the things that they've done recently there is taken the back portion of the school, which runs adjacent to one of the rivers there, one of the washes, and it used to be kind of a dump where all these businesses, or maybe the community, who knows who, used to come and just, how it is, someone leaves a couch somewhere and someone else leaves a couch there, and all of a sudden people know that's where you can leave stuff. And so over the course of the last 6 months, they've taken that space, cleaned it up, and put a gym there and trees around it. And the idea is, not only for beauty's sake, but to help kids fight obesity, stay healthy. And so that's going to be a beautiful opportunity. And every weekend, actually, you can volunteer with Amigos de los Rios, because one of the things they do is they use natural plants that came from this area. And that's good because they use less water, right? They've kind of, through millions of years, have grown accustomed to the conditions of this area. But one of the things that makes it tough and why people don't always use these types of plants is you have to kind of weed them by hand, right? And as soon as maintenance comes into play, cities, for reasons that have to do with resources, try to avoid that. They want to go the easiest way, but sometimes the easiest takes the most water, takes the most energy. So what Amigos de los Rios does, and their volunteers, is every Saturday they go to a different park that they've worked in, because they've made deals with these cities. If you let us plant these certain plants and do these certain things, we will maintain them. So they get volunteers every Saturday and goes in different places around the San Gabriel Valley, and they basically weed, and they maintain these places, and it's important work because cities, it's the only way cities agree to doing it. So Google that, Amigos de los Rios. We'll put a link to our paper. So what else is going on in the San Gabriel Valley? Lucia, what have you been doing, or what are you looking forward to doing?
Well, later this week, I believe it's on Tuesday, on August 9th, from 6 to 9, Baldwin Park is going to be having a Taste of Baldwin Park, which is, they had it last year. I'm not sure how long they've been having it, but they have food, music, artwork, all displayed at Morgan Park in Baldwin Park. You can look up on www.baldwinpark.com and get all the information there. But it's going to be a really cool event. I believe they're also going to have a concert at the same time, and they're also going to be having food trucks there.
I really like Baldwin Park. When I grew up in San Gabriel, but one of my best friends lives in Baldwin Park. So I've really got to see that city change over the last 30 years. And I think just within the last year or so, they've been doing a lot of things, community-oriented things. And so I think a Taste of Baldwin Park is a great idea, especially because all of our cities in the San Gabriel Valley are changing so quickly. And in fact, we have a short summary of a research paper that was done by USC Institute. It looked at 20 years of data, and some of the fastest changing cities in all of Southern California are here in the San Gabriel Valley. You can see that list. But Baldwin Park is a great city. What about you, Mr. Minister?
Well, you were mentioning the Morgan Park, and I was there last week for their 5K run. And again, if you don't get out into these events, you just don't know what you're missing. I mean, there was music, there was breakfast burritos, there was people stretching, there were a young group of kids, a lot of young kids from running teams, high schools or running clubs, kind of together, 8, 9, 10 of them together with their bibs. And you can see the solidarity. They're just really proud to be out there working on their fitness, working with Baldwin Park. And one of the event organizers I was speaking with, and of course I was there promoting our race, handing out flyers, making new friends. They were talking about how last year they had 700 participants, registered participants. Now, that's huge. They said this year they had over 900.
Wow.
So really, if you think about one event to bring 900 people just as paid registrants, not to mention the ancillary staff, the volunteer staff, the families. There's a lot of mothers there holding purses and cheering on their young adult child. Great event. So again, like you were saying, Baldwin Park's a beautiful venue. Morgan Park's beautiful. A lot of lights, very safe.
Yeah, I keep hearing Morgan Park. I want to get out there. They're doing some real cool stuff. I need to make the effort.
Decent parking. There's parking parking east, there's parking just south, and there's plenty of parking around the story areas around there. But it was a big event. There was several thousand people out there. But like I said, Baldwin Park's really got something special happening. They even put that huge billboard on the 10 freeway. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
For the race. I think it's huge, and it's in your face, and you have to go to it. So that's kind of the reason why I went to kind of see what it was all about. And beautiful event, beautiful venue.
Wow, that's really cool. It's amazing, like you were talking about, not only you're raising money for an important cause, but you're building community. You're having parents and children interact, spend time together, right? Be supportive of each other, build memories. And also you just get to see people who live in your area. We live in suburbia, and a lot of times that involves commuting to somewhere and commuting home. And you sometimes spend more time in other cities. You spend more time in other cities than you do your own. And you don't get to know who lives in your neighborhood anymore. And it's important to know that, and it's important to see the faces. And maybe you go to the store and you see someone you've seen at a few other occasions, and you just say hi. And I think that it just changes the tone of your city.
It was interesting, Sean. When I was there, I was handing out flyers, and I handed it out to one of the gentlemen that were one of the runners, and he's like, "Oh, I've ran this before." That's the community you're talking about.
Yeah.
So there's a community of runners that have been to this event. I don't know what year. I didn't recognize his face. And usually I MC the event. As you can tell, I like to talk. But I see new faces, and I take a poll and say, hey, who's been here before? Who was here, more than 5 years ago? And you'd be surprised when I take that poll. There's people that have been there for over 10 years coming to this event, our 29th annual Menudo run. And it's that sense of community you're talking about, how they've had some sort of connection with this event. And a couple years ago, we renamed it. It was just the Menudo Run 5K, and we renamed it to the Albert Rivera Menudo Run. I got a flyer. Here's a picture of him here. Obviously, you can't see it on the radio, but he was one of our founding fathers. He died of cancer a couple years back. A very close friend. He actually introduced me to the chapter. He probably was active for about 20 years. And because of his efforts and to bring the Menudo Run to where it's at today, we've renamed it in his honor. So again, this event has some special meaning for cancer survivors, for cancer patients. 2 years ago, we gave a $1,000 donation to City of Hope in his name through this event. It was presented at this event, and forever etched in a brick at the City of Hope is his name with our chapter, part of that City of Hope monument they have there. So this event really has a lot of different meaning for a lot of different people. But at the end of the day, like you were saying, that sense of community, there's a lot of people that share that common goal of running and getting healthy and coming out a couple times a month to these events to support nonprofits.
Yeah, exactly. And also children's health. It's been in the news lately with Monte and the sugar tax, and and Baldwin Park looked at that. But one of the overarching issues is obesity with children, and a lot of times that has to do with poverty. It has to do with ethnicity. You always hear. I hate to break statistics into ethnicity or just into groups, because people don't fit in boxes when it comes down to each individual person. But poor Latino children are sometimes the people who suffer from the obesity, more than any other group, and that hits El Monte, South El Monte, Baldwin Park, and we've been hearing, at least I've been hearing this for a long, long time. It almost sounds like a broken record. But I feel like over the last few years, there's been a huge change in attitude, perspective. You see mothers getting more active about eating, making sure that children eat healthier. I've heard commercials on the radio, telling mothers to ask, grocery stores to carry local products, because, for those who don't know, the longer food has to travel, the kind of more durable it has to be, and the more durable it has to be, you kind of lose a naturalness, you lose, nutrition. So South El Monte has an organic farm. I don't know if you know about that. We did a story on that, and I can send you the link, but they have a 4-acre farm in South El Monte where they grow organic fruits and vegetables and sell them to the community, because that's another issue. Healthy food usually costs more. So that was kind of a good program, actually, through the San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps, who, if you don't use them for recycling for your event, you should, because they do that. They offer that service for free. Okay. But what were you thinking,
I was
Lucia?
going to ask if you knew, Sean, because I know a few years ago El Monte had a farmer's market right here near the Valley Mall. I'm not sure. Do you know if they still do that?
No, I don't. Do you?
No, it sounds familiar. I worked at the El Monte office for several years, very close to here. But no, I don't recall recently if it's still there.
Yeah, I know it's farmers markets. Sometimes it's hard to establish, and because if you're not used to the benefits of it, sometimes you don't understand it. And I think in general that's kind of community. Once you kind of had a taste of what a real community can feel like, you want that. But until you've had it, you don't realize what you're missing, which is great to have events like you guys are doing.
And you'd be surprised, Sean, you mentioned children and fitness. So many of the kids do run with their parents. It's actually a 5K, 10K fun walk. So we do have a lot of children, and we make it real special for the kids. Every kid that participates, we make sure they get a ribbon of participation, regardless of where they place. Really but for the most part, it's generally an event that promotes health and fitness. That's why we serve Menudo and beer at the end of the race. but at the same time, it's tradition. It's tradition, and it's just a great event. And if I didn't already mention it, there's a phone number also if you don't have access to a computer or just not really savvy. You can contact Jonathan Garcia at 909-815-1360. 909-815-1360, and Jonathan's on our committee. He's actually a college student. I believe he attends school in San Diego County, and he's a very athletic runner. I think he's there on some sort of running scholarship.
Oh wow!
So he was also one of our recipients a couple years ago for a scholarship, and he's the kind of young person we talked about earlier that's giving back in his own way, saying, "Yeah, go ahead and put my number here, and I'll allow several hundred people to call me at 2 a.m. asking about Menudo."
Yeah, that's good.
But it's great to have people like that want to give back.
And if you're listening and you're intimidated by someone who's really healthy, I'll show up. Then you can have someone you could run faster than. So,
but like you said, it's a fun walk. Also, it's historic Lake Park, and like we already mentioned, it's a beautiful venue, clean venue. Walking around the lakes, seeing all of the foliage, the animals that are out there, and then enjoying.
Other animals, huh?
Small squirrels. It's really a great venue, especially when you get in the middle of the park. It's kind of away from the streets, and you'll see some stuff that you probably don't see every day, and you'll be amazed how something that beautiful is right in your backyard that you may not even realize.
You could write a whole book on that Whittier Narrows area, because it's, as far as I know, it's owned by the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes.
It's leased to different cities, right? And then those cities lease it to other places. You have a tank museum. If you've ever been to the Tank Museum,
right across the street, right?
Yeah, right across the street.
Rosemead, I think it is.
It's Rosemead and the 60, more or less. You have a shooting range. You have, I think, a sewer plantation. You have an organic farm. You have a lake.
What's the natural preserve that's on the Turfy side by the sheriff's station?
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Nature center.
Yes, Nature Walk.
Oh, right.
Nature Center.
Yeah.
That's nice to visit too if you're into.
My uncle used to take us there years ago.
Right across from the high school. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Right
I've never been there. I need to check that out.
South of Monte High School, correct? Yeah.
You have a community garden. You have the original place of the San Gabriel Mission. Right, is right there. I think there's a plaque. I've always heard. I've never gone.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, but there's a plaque there because the mission was built by the river initially because water is such an important thing. Anyways, it's such a great place to have a community event because it brings together so many people. The Tet Festival, the Vietnamese New Year Festival, is there. Good stuff. Let's take another break. Again, I'll let you sign yourself off as we take this break, just to make sure we get the proper information to the people. So go ahead and get us that information.
Again, Sean, Lucia, thanks for having me on the show. We appreciate you giving us the small chapters, small organizations, an opportunity to kind of talk about events that are going on here locally in the San Gabriel Valley area, and look forward to coming back again when we have another event, maybe the car seat event, which I think is important. Because again, with that story, we really feel that with that new car seat, that we probably saved this kid's life from serious injury.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
Great. And again, the 29th annual Albert Rivera Menudo Run 5K, 10K Fun Walk is on August 25th. Registration's at 6:30. We start the race about 8:15. We'll give medals, overall money to the top runner, top man and woman for 5K run. You can visit us at our website at SGVCHAPTER. That's SGVchapter.com. Or you can call Jonathan Garcia at 909-815-1360, and you can always email us. It's a lengthy email. That's NLPOA SGV CHAPTER yahoo.com. And again, my name is Daniel Ramirez. I'm the chapter president. If you email me, I'll be more than happy to respond to you and give you more information about our event.
Great. And just remind us again how much the registration costs and where the money goes.
Sure. The registration, August 11th is the pre-registration deadline. So if you get with us this week, pre-registration is $30. The day of the event is $35. That includes a T-shirt, a backpack, Menudo, drinks, tortilla, and a goodie bag, which comprises of like a chapstick. We have Caesar's Professional Products, one of our sponsors. He has some great products. He's a local hair product company in Commerce. It's a great venue, great event. $35 at the day of the event. You can pay online, or you can come to the event and bring a check or cash.
Got it. And that money goes to? The
money primarily for us goes to straight scholarship funds. And like I mentioned earlier, last year we gave, this year in summer we gave away $6,000. Our goal for 2013 is to match, if not exceed that. But that only happens with the help of people coming to events like this.
Got it. And if you're a student and you're interested in applying for a scholarship, do you guys accept applications?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We started the application process in April. We have interviews in May. This year we had them at a local event, the YMCA in Covina. So it's, again, another way that we had talked about. People don't realize there's a YMCA right here locally for them. It's a great opportunity, kind of joint venture and bring nonprofits together. So that process is in May, and then we give out the scholarships in June, right before they get ready for their summer break. But just email us, and I'll add you to our contacts. So when it comes time to send the scholarship applications out, I'll make sure I get them to you. Our primary target is for seniors going into their first year of college or university, but we're open to first or second year students. But again, our primary target is people that are going right into college. And also, we have trophies for teams. Last year, I think the team that won was one of the local fire departments. I don't remember what the station it was, but it's 5 runners, the best 4 scores, and you get to take home the big trophy, being the team winner. Oh, wow. And so it's a battle of the badges, a battle of the teams.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
We had San Gabriel Valley Police Department had a team last year. We had some local running groups had a team last year. So if you're a team and you're interested in something like this, I'm sure you know of the event. Just clear your calendar and come on out, and we look forward to handing over a 3-foot trophy to you as the overall team winner. So.
Yeah, you know who you might want to contact is those CrossFit guys. CrossFit is like the new.
They're everywhere, right?
And they are strong. I keep seeing videos of my friends who just lifting more and more weight and getting buffer and buffer. But there has to be people like me to make the rest of us feel okay.
So again, Sean, Lucia, thank you very much. We appreciate as an organization giving us the opportunity to share our event, and we're looking forward to having you guys. And again, if you get time, come on out, and you don't have to run. But you can come on out and enjoy a soda, or Lucia, I know you like to drink beer. You can enjoy a bowl of Menudo, or just come out and see what it's all about. And maybe even maybe say a couple of words in the Mid Valley
news
paper.
Yeah, that'd be great. I appreciate the invitation, and really, thank you for coming, because stuff like this, it's so much work to put together. You probably working the whole year working with sponsors and trying to get the word out, but to be on your 29th year is a great example of just your commitment and success, really.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a great episode of Around the Valley. All these things coming together, and then on top of that, you have your walk, which is the Menudo Run, August 25th. August 25th. And the way to get information about that, you can Google it. You can go to their website, which is
it's SGV. CHAPTER, SGVchapter.com. And if you Google it, it'll definitely come up.
Great. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We're with Daniel Ramirez from the Latino Peace Officers Association, the San Gabriel Valley chapter, and we're talking about the Menudo Run that's taking place in South El Monte, August 25th. We'll be right back.
San Gabriel Valley events brought to you by Mid Valley News. Temple City will be having a money management seminar Saturday, August 11th. The seminar focuses on basic money skills at the beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. Getting a strong start addresses to manage money, use credit wisely, and live within your means. Topics include setting up a bank account, learning about credit history, using credit cards, budgeting, saving, working, and career. Saturday, August 11th, 2012, at 1 p.m. at Temple City Library. The address is 5939 Golden West Avenue in Temple City, California. South Amani will be hosting their summer concerts in the park Thursday, August 23rd. The city of South Amani will continue its summer fun tradition of dancing under the stars with their annual Concerts in the Park series. Each concert will offer sounds of well-known groups. Next up, Soto, that will get concert goers on the dancing floor once the music begins. There will be various food concession stands and amusing youth activities at the concert as well. This is the last in the series, and it starts at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Mary Van Dyke Park, 1819 Central Avenue. Attendees are encouraged to bring their blankets and lawn chairs to ensure comfort at the concerts. Seating will not be provided. And Arcadia will have their family flick on Wednesday, August 15th. The family fun starts at 6:30 p.m. on the promenade upper level of the mall at 400 South Baldwin Avenue, Arcadia, California. There will be a pre-show entertainment and activities. The movie for the night is Zookeeper. For more information, call area code 626-574.
Welcome back to Around the Valley. Today is August 7th, 2012. We're in the third and final portion of our show. We're just going to talk about some local events and news that we have going on. The first thing I wanted to mention is there is a Menudo and pancake breakfast happening Sunday, August 19th, 2012, from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the VFW, which is a veteran of foreign wars, and that's at 1126 Ramona Boulevard in El Monte, California. Menudo bowl is $6, pancakes $5. I think it's a wonderful event. You always hear about Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, but this is Menudo and pancakes. It's kind of like our own San Gabriel version of San Gabriel Valley version of that.
And Menudo's really, really good.
Yeah, Menudo is good if you've never had it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And I wanted to mention also, Monrovia is doing this great thing. It's called Nextdoor.com, NEXTDOOR.com. And what it is, it's a private social network, kind of like Facebook, but within your neighborhood. And what they're doing is they're allowing, it's kind of like how Facebook, you can talk to your neighbors. What it is that people right now in Monrovia are using this service they can find a new home for bike, look for a babysitter. They do a lot of things, find out who does the best paint job in town. And Monrovia Neighborhood Services actually invites everyone to their annual neighborhood conference, which will be actually this Saturday, August 11th at the Monrovia Community Center. The address is 119 West Palm Avenue at 10 a.m. And this will give people a chance to participate free classes, meet their city leaders, staff. They're going to have free lunch, raffle prizes. So that's a really good thing that they're doing. And if you also want more information, you can call their neighborhood services at area code 626-932-5563 or email them at map@ci.monrovia.ca.us to get more involved in this.
Great, and we'll put that online so you can just click it if you check our website. Monrovia does some really interesting things. Mm-hmm. Things people know about, farmers market, kind of small town feel, but some things people don't know about. I think it's either the fire department or the police department, but they painted the roof of their building white.
Oh.
And for people who don't know, white, when you wear a white t-shirt, it's less hot than when you wear a black t-shirt.
Yeah.
And that's the general idea with these roofs. If you paint your roof white, it bounces the rays of the sun off of your roof, and in turn that makes your building less hot and you use less electricity to keep it cool. And so Monrovia does things like that people don't even know about, and they're just a really kind of forward-thinking city, and I really like what they're doing. So this sounds really interesting.
And it's a really nice area too. I don't know if you've gone through. They have in their, I think it's Old Town Monrovia. I'm not sure which street it is. And they have a lot of cool little shops there. Mom and pop shops. They have a comic book store.
Yeah, Monrovia really balances kind of like the historic, feeling of their city and being accessible to like a modern, population. I know a lot of people love to go there to have dinner and kind of walk around. They have that old town feel.
Yeah, and then in the night they have everything well lit, and it's a really nice thing.
Something else that I like that Monrovia does is, in addition to having banners for veterans, they have banners for people who go to college. this person went to, this college, this student went to that college. I think it's great to kind of promote.
Oh, I didn't know they do that.
Yeah, they're the only city I've ever seen that in, so I think
that's actually nice. That's really cool.
It's a really cool thing. All right, moving on. El Monte, the mayor of El Monte, and we try to stay away from politics, but I've been really impressed with some interactions with him lately because, like I mentioned last week's show, I tried to get in contact with him through Facebook, and he wrote me back immediately.
It's a good thing because a lot of times, people don't write back.
Yeah, and then
especially if they're like, in a high position or
Right, exactly. They just avoid it instead of they'd rather have no opinion than an opinion, right? And then on top of that, they had the city address, which every city has its kind of state of the city address, which is very similar to a State of the Union address that tells you what's happening in your city, what's been happening, and what the plans are. And El Monte, when they had theirs recently, they had tacos there for anybody who wanted to come, and I think it was the most people they've had come to a State of the City address in a long time.
Remember, there's free food now.
Yeah, free food brings people.
No, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing because you're listening to you're making connections for faces, and because the city council can only reflect what the population tells them, and a lot of times people don't know who their city representatives are, so it's good to get that connection. And then the third thing I wanted to mention about the mayor is he had a summer pool party recently. Yeah, there's an aquatic center in El Monte, and so they had a summer pool party, I think, just to come out and talk to him, and so he get community input. And I mean, what a great idea. It's such a simple idea, but I've never heard of any other city doing anything like that.
That is a good idea. And that aquatic center, I've never been there, but I've heard it's a really, really nice place to go.
Yeah, I went to a local meeting once about bicycles, actually, and
they're at the aquatic center?
Well, they let you use their space if you want to have a meeting.
Okay.
And I was really impressed by that pool too. I couldn't believe that I had never known about it. So
yeah, because when I was going to high school, they were barely gonna start building it, so we never actually used it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had the old pools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before all of that new stuff was there. So.
Let's see. Anything else going on that we want to talk about locally?
Well, I wanted to mention that the new school year is coming up soon. I believe the new school year starting in a couple of weeks, and a lot of the local adult schools, have been sending out their catalogs for the new school year. So I would encourage people to check out the El Monte Rosemead Adult School. Their catalog should be coming out soon. But if you want to get more information on that, you can visit www.emras.edu. And you can check out the different schedule of the classes. I also received something from Bassett, so it has the website here. If you like to visit www.bassettadultschool.com, and they have a lot of classes there as well. But you can Google different schools, even colleges.
I think that's great. A lot of times people don't think about the adult schools as an option for education, and I think they're a wonderful option. Unfortunately, I think their budget has been kind of constrained.
Yeah, a lot of classes have been cut, but a lot of schools are trying to, keep that alive. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's important. We always talk about the children, and they are important, but adults are just as equally important. They're part of our community, and a lot of times people learn English that way, and you can build a skill set with things like technology. I know they teach a lot of advanced classes.
Yeah, there's a lot of computer classes, a lot of business classes. Baldwin Park has a culinary arts program, cosmetology program. I believe Bassett has, let me see here, Bassett has different trades as well. They have a career, they offer for if you want to go into careers like for medical assistant, nursing program. They have those, and sometimes it's a better option than going to college, because sometimes the colleges have a really long waiting list.
Right.
For the nursing programs.
Oh yeah, that's the downside of community colleges. The upside is they're affordable. The downside is classes get canceled and they always get full. And I had a cousin who went to East LA Community College, and at the registration they said, take any class that you can, even if it has nothing to do with what you want, because you have to start building up this, bundle of classes that you've taken that gives you priority to register to get the classes. And it just seems, it's just really unfortunate that.
Yeah, it's sad because it's like a lot of the arts programs are hurting a lot too. Because I know I wanted to take classes at PCC, and a lot of the radio, TV, film classes were cut during the summer, so I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's try to leave it on a positive note. Do we have any positive news?
Of course, there's always positive news. Like I said earlier in the show, Baldwin Park is having their Taste of Baldwin Park this week. I believe it's on the 9th, and they'll also be having music and food trucks, and all of that money goes towards the community.
Okay, that's great. I have some other positive news. San Gabriel Library started this campaign for their centennial celebration, where you read 100 books in a year. This is for children or adults.
Oh,
you get entered into a raffle, and you could win $100.
Really?
Yeah, and that's
Maybe
money that was donated by the Friends of the Library of San Gabriel. Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
I started a book. I believe it's like a mystery book. I think the author's Jason Painter or Pinter. I forgot. And it's a really good mystery. I started on a Stephen King Dark Tower series, but I still haven't finished it. So I haven't had time to read it.
It's a great reason to start yourself reading.
Yeah.
Right? And speaking of reading, I went to the library downtown LA to do some research on San Gabriel Valley history. And if you're in any of the city libraries, which are not the county libraries, if you're in any of the city libraries, you have access to the LA Times archives. Going back to, I don't know, the 1900s, maybe even before. I think it's actually 1886 is where it starts. You can Google anything. Or you're not Googling, but you're in the LA Times archives when you're in the city or when you're in the library. And you wouldn't imagine the stuff that comes up. There's such rich history in this area that's just at your fingertips once you get in those city libraries, completely free. A great example is, I read this, I'm doing research for the Mission Play, and the Mission Play was a big deal in 1915 in San Gabriel Valley. And this guy had been accused of selling medicine without a license. His last name was Chan. And the only witness was the Mission Play actors. And so the Mission Play actors eventually, through the course of the day, said, look, we got to get back to, our play. We have there's a sold-out house, and we got to act.
The show has to go on.
The show has to go on, exactly. And so they ended up losing the witnesses and lost the case, and the guy walked. But it's just such a funny thing to think about, Another good example is there was an artist colony, an actor colony. Because the Mission Play had 100 actors plus, people got tired of commuting from LA to San Gabriel. So they all started living on the same street. And so I read this article, 1916, that's talking about the artist colony of San Gabriel, of all the actors and all the designers and actors. Isn't that cool? It's a really cool thought. So anyways, get yourself to the library. There's tons of great activities in addition to tons of things you can research.
Exactly.
And that program, $100, you can read 100 books. You'd actually probably make more in knowledge than in money, but it would be worth it. And it's great to get back into the library because tons of things are not digitized. They're not online. And there's a lot of information that you'll only find in the library. And again, volunteer with Amigos de los Rios. It's going to be, Madrid School or Madrid Park behind Madrid Schools happening this Saturday. But every Saturday there's an activity, and you can Google them and find them on Facebook. And I guess that's it, huh? Is that the end of the show?
Yeah, that's about it. Just, you guys, we encourage you to go out in your community and, give back to the community because the community does a lot for us. So.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And there's so many ways to get involved. And if you need a way to get involved, just send me an email, Sean@midvalleynews.com.
Bombard him with emails.
Please, you should. It would be a good problem. Sean@midvalleynews.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us around the valley. Today is August 7th, 2012, and we were promoting the Menudo Walk, which it's going to take place August 25th, 2012, at Lake Park, and that's through the Latino Police Officers Association, the San Gabriel Valley chapter. And we look forward to sharing more wonderful news of the San Gabriel Valley. Take care, everybody.